In this video, we're going to look at a few ways to fix some common audio problems. We're going to start by doing this using effects. If you go to the effects panel down here, open up audio effects, you'll see that we have three categories, 5.1, stereo, and mono. If we look at our track here in the high pass sequence, we'll see two little speakers here. If this were a mono track, there would be one speaker. If it was a 5.1 surround sound track, there would be a 5.1 here. Since we know this is a stereo track, this is a stereo clip, let's go ahead and open up the stereo area of effects. As you can see here, there are loads of audio effects that we could use to sweeten and adjust our audio. Premiere definitely understands the significance of audio to a quality video, and the effects here are really top-notch. I should also point out that if you have third-party VST filters or audio plugins installed, you could also use them here from Premiere. Now, there's a wide range of effects here. There's stuff like reverb, which adds kind of like a mild echo. So if you have some voiceover work that you need to give it more space, if it sounds too flat and dead, you could apply some reverb to that. And everything else from reverb to crazy effects like chorus and even like a flanger to make you sound like you're underwater. But there's also some really great effects here for cleaning up audio, such as the D effects, the D clicker, D crackler, D hummer, D noiser. These definitely help clean up if you have clicks, pops, hums, that type of thing. What I'm going to use to fix our current audio situation, and this is what we've looked at before, is we have this low roll of ocean here. If we play that.
Beautiful scenery.
Now, his voice is higher in pitch than the ocean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an effect called high pass. And high pass allows high pitches to pass through. That's why it's called high pass. So what it's going to do is it's going to eliminate low frequencies. So I'm going to drag and drop that onto my audio clip here. Open up high pass in the effect controls panel. And if we play this, the results by default are not all that great.
Beautiful scenery.
It removes too much of the low frequencies, and so his voice sounds like it's on an AM radio. Now, that could be what we're looking for, and this is a great effect for that, but of course that's not what we're looking for in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cutoff down, and I'm going to try to do this while I'm playing it back to give you a sense of what this value does.
Beautiful scenery. Plenty of places to ride.
So could you get a sense of what that was doing when we adjusted the cutoff parameter? Basically, everything below the cutoff gets removed because it's high pass, so everything above that cutoff point passes through, everything below it's cut off. So we have a lot of human speaking tones underneath this current value. What we want to do is I'm going to actually click in here and type in 110. So everything below 110, which is a really deep set of pitches, is going to be cut out, and everything above is going to be allowed to pass through. So if we play this back,
beautiful scenery.
It sounds pretty much the same. But if we click this bypass switch, we can see the before and the after. So bypass basically turns the effect off and then on as we have it unchecked. So I'm going to play this back now and listen to the difference when the effect is played back without bypass, meaning the effect is on and working, and when I select bypass and turn the effect off.
Beautiful scenery. Plenty of places to ride. Beautiful weather. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Now, because you're probably watching this over the internet, you might not have heard that difference, but there is a very deep low rumble that is removed by this effect. So if you have situations where you're filming like outside or maybe in a warehouse or something like that, and there is like a deep low rumble, this is a good way to get rid of that by using the high pass effect. Conversely, we could also use the low pass effect for high-pitched whines. Just like the high pass effect creates a threshold and then throws away everything beneath a certain threshold, low pass throws out everything above a certain threshold and allows low frequencies to pass through. As we'll see, this is great for whines and things like that. I'm going to play this clip that we've looked at previously from the House on Haunted Hill Cutaways clip. And this clip, for whatever reason, the way that this was encoded, this has a very high-pitched whine in it.
We're all locked in now.
Really just grating. So hopefully you can hear that so you could tell how incredibly annoying that is. So I'm going to apply the low pass effect to, just drag and drop it to the audio clip there. And we open up low pass, and let's just give it a preview here.
We're all locked in now.
Okay, that's good, but it's cutting off a little bit too much. Because it's removing everything above this frequency, there are a lot of overtones in the human voice that are just kind of getting lost. So I'm actually going to click on this value, take this up to 2800, and then now if I preview this, it's going to sound pretty good.
We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
Now, I'm going to do the same thing before where I'm going to click bypass to turn the effect off and on again, and notice the difference.
We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
I'm sorry, my dear, but it's too late now.
So again, really irritating without the low pass effect. So if you want to get rid of low hums or high whines, you can use these filters to get the job done. Now for extra super hard jobs, if you have like some kind of really big audio pop or somebody says a word and they shouldn't have and you really just can't edit around it, you can go to Adobe Sound Booth. I'm going to right click on this audio clip in the high pass sequence, but I'm going to choose Edit in Adobe Sound Booth, Render and Replace. Now what that does is opens this clip up in Adobe Sound Booth, which is a separate audio application that comes with Adobe Production Premium or the Adobe Master Collection, which is Adobe Production Premium is Adobe's kind of video suite. Now Adobe Sound Booth is a very simple audio editing program, but it really is built for video editors to be able to fix little audio problems just like the ones we've been having. Let me show you this. This is our sample here. And again, just like Premiere, we hit the space bar to start the playback of audio. Okay.
Beautiful scenery.
So same clip that we're looking at. We're just looking at the waveform here. And I know that this first little section here, as you see this flat waveform or almost flat waveform, this is the ocean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag over the ocean noise. Then I'm going to go to Clean Up Audio in the Tasks panel. Click Clean Up Audio. One of the brilliant things that Sound Booth does, and it has a few really magical tricks here, I'm going to capture the noise print. So what's going to do is it's going to look at this noise, and basically by selecting only the noise, I've told Sound Booth that this is bad stuff that I don't want. And then what I could do is click on the noise button, and it will go through and it will take this noise out of the entire clip. Now, sometimes this works beautifully. And matter of fact, most of the time it works really, really well. But a lot of times, and I chose this example specifically for this, it's not as great as it might seem because the frequencies of what we want to keep overlap the frequencies of what we want to throw away. But even still, it's going to sound like he's in a cave here. But if I click Preview, and actually I just realized that by having this audio selection still in play when I did the noise cleanup here, it only cleaned up that little section. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here and then click here. And then let's go ahead and make sure you don't have a selection, which you can get by just clicking anywhere in here. Then click noise, and then we can preview this.
Beautiful scenery. Plenty of places to ride.
So again, we're seeing some of the frequencies that we want taken out, which is not what we want, of course. But even still, it's pretty amazing that the sound of the ocean is just gone.
Beautiful scenery.
So what we can do is take this reduction from aggressive to the right and take it to the left to be light. And we can actually do this while we're previewing it too.
Beautiful scenery. Plenty of places to ride. Beautiful weather. It just doesn't get any better than this.
And we can also choose the reduce by amount. So basically at the top are choosing what we are getting rid of, and then at the bottom we're talking about how loud the noise reduction is. In this case, it's a pretty tough job, so I'm not sure if there's anything that's going to be perfect. I might want to take this down to light and take this down to light a little bit more. Preview this.
Beautiful scenery.
So it still sounds a little warbly in the background, but it is reduced quite a bit. So I guess I'm going to be happy with this. That's the best we're going to get, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, if I go back to Premiere, through the magic of magicness and the way that Premiere and Sound Booth work together, Sound Booth created an additional audio file out of the audio file from the video, brought it into the project panel, and swapped it out with our original audio here. So this is linked to what we are having in Sound Booth. So now if we play this back,
Beautiful scenery.
we'll see the same audio clip from Sound Booth. So any changes that we make in Sound Booth and then save will show up then in Premiere. Now, I should also point out here that if you do have some really hard audio problem, if there's like a pop that you can't get rid of in Premiere or something like that, I recommend checking out the Sound Booth training on lynda.com. Really top notch. And a lot of these things that you'll learn about in Sound Booth can just bail you out of so many problems as far as audio goes in Premiere.